everything out. So please put your cameras on if possible. If you're driving or something, that's fine. Not an issue. We'll get Jan Lee to drop in some links as we go around catching up with us at some point. If you need to catch up with PJ or I, Jan Lee will just keep on down, putting those links in there, and there's ways to catch up. So PJ is more around the lead gen. I'm around the other areas.
Maybe you're looking for payroll.
Okay, so just remember, if you're going to talk, which we are, we're going to keep this informal. If you're going to talk about other things, just make sure, or to colleagues next to you, just make sure your mute's off. Otherwise, we have to mute everyone and all the time on and off, and it's a bit of a hassle. So great. PJ, do you want to?
Can you just do co-host for me again? Just like
oh, sorry, I didn't make you co-host. Let me get you that quickly. Oh, someone else did that for me. Must be Janley. Oh, good. Right, thanks, Janley. Great.
Okay, all good.
Yep.
Can you guys all see my screen?
Yep.
Okay, guys. So my name is just introduction quick. My name is PJ Davies. I'm the LG90 coach here at Loading Growth. I also run the company for Ian. I do see there are some of our clients that are working with us already that are on the call. Great to see you guys. And so this is a workshop, guys. So we want interaction. Okay, this is not going to be a presentation that I'll sit here and do all the talking and presentation to you guys. It's very much a workshop to and fro. So feel free, guys, as Ian says, jump in with questions and we'll answer you guys as best as possible. And like Ian says, we'll keep on dropping in links in there for you guys. Okay, so can everybody see my screen? Just say yes, no, put up your hands, all good? Yep. Good, okay.
Okay.
What we generally do when we have discussions with people, which is very important with lead generation, and having a specific snapshot of where's everybody in their business. This is a great sort of visualization to give you guys more context of where you guys need to work on in your business currently. Okay, so if you guys, would be great to grab a piece of paper, pen and paper, and just copy down, just quickly do the triangle and put your connect, your engage, and convert. And basically how the system works is there's three main specific points that we look at. Okay. The first one is how do you build your community, and why is that important? Okay. The next we look at is how do we go and engage with those target audience.
Very soon, I think.
Okay. And why is that important? Right. The third point we need to look at is how do we go and convert these potential people into clients and paying clients. Okay. Have you guys following? You all got it? Just raise your hands just so I know that I'm not going too fast. Everyone's got it?
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah,
so within these 3 points, now the total scoring is out of 60, guys. Okay. We're going to look at these 2 areas in each specific area. And the first being under the connect and how do we go and build, how do we build our community? Okay. Is we go and have a look at people and systems. Okay. Can anybody tell me what is meant by people in the sense of community building? Anybody?
I assume it's talking about actual humans.
Yeah. More specifically, if we're looking at it at the perspective of what we're talking about, lead generation, what is important that you need to know about your community?
In association with the system of, I don't know, all their data.
Okay, so people, you've got to know who you're going to go and target. We call them PFCs, perfect future clients. So you got to know who they are. You got to know what industry you're going to go after. You got to go and drill down, and we're going to go through this just now in more depth. You've got to go and know what roles they play within the company. Okay, that's vitally important. How well do you know your clients? Okay, that's vitally important in lead generation, because there's a whole lot of aspects that we're going to chat about that later on. Okay, so people. So I want you guys to think about and give yourselves, I'll ask some of you just now on giving yourselves a scoring out of 10. How well do you guys know your target market? Write a number down. If you're not too sure, it's going to be 5 or less. If you have a rough idea, it's going to be between 5 and 7. If you know who your target market, 100%, it's an 8 and above. Okay. Okay. The next part that I want you guys to have a look at is platforms. What platforms have you guys got in your systems currently? Do any of you guys got CRM systems running at the moment?
Yep.
Does everybody, what type of systems do you guys run? HubSpot?
Yep. HubSpot.
Most of you guys HubSpot?
HubSpot for us. What was that? UpDrive.
Yep.
Somebody.
PubDrive.
Drive for Sandy.
Okay, cool.
Yep.
So you got to think about on platforms, how automated and systematic are these platforms? You know, how much is it manually and how much is it automated? Because that's very, very important, because obviously if it's a very manual process, it's going to take a lot of time to load all these guys up onto your platforms. And it's going to take hard effort. It's going to cause more friction to actually get people on and know exactly where they are in your sales pipeline. Okay. So having a systemized automated platform is vitally important to identify exactly where clients are in the process. So again, I want you guys to score yourselves out of 10 where you guys are on platforms. Okay, Mark, so I'm going to pick on you because you're the first guy I had a chat to. So what did you have for people?
For people, I said probably about 7, because
Okay.
we've got quite, there's lots of segments in the market
and space. Yeah, I can
Yeah.
understand it. Okay, so in that context, you brought up a good question there. Because a lot of people might have a lot of segments in their business that they're going to go and target in a lot of industries. It's very, very important to understand that when we go to market, we've got to go and do with one campaign first, meaning that we've got to stick with one segment of the market first.
Yeah.
Because that's vitally important that we're sending the right message out to those specific people that we want to target. Okay. And it's also very important to understand what your tactics are. Are you going to talk to the influencers who then go and chat to the decision makers to gain credibility and rapport with those people? Or are you going to target the people that make decisions? And those messages are very specifically different on how you do that.
Yeah. Yep. So that's why I wrote 7 opposed to 10, is that we've got, we're aware that we've got influencers in the market who will help us get to our target market, but we're also aware that some of those influencers and people up and down the chain as such, or up and down the segments, are customers themselves.
Okay, great. Platforms?
Platforms, so we have some of it ourselves, because we've built a system for managing products for our clients, and that integrates with a little bit with HubSpot, but we haven't fully built it out as yet.
Okay.
I'm pretty much aware of, so I gave it a 3 for the question that you're asking. But
right, so that's easy maths for me. That's 10 out of 20.
Yep.
Okay, good. Okay.
We have here PJ from Murray, privacy and compliance, putting detail on a third-party service.
Is that a target market, Murray? Is that the target market you're going after?
We have a number of government clients and insurance industry, etc. It is a major concern of them. You know, we've got the new Privacy Act. You need to keep control of everything. You know,
100%.
if I go and put your name, your email address, your phone number out somewhere, where is it going?
That's right. That's 100%. And that's, you know, that's when with the lead gen process, we take, a lot of our clients are security companies. So we've got a global security company, it's one of our clients. So they can't, you know, so we're really strict in data. We're really strict in governance. So when we do lead gen, we take you through a process and you create it as your system yourself. So basically all the data is your data. And that's what PJ brought up initially. He didn't go in that detail, but yeah, 100%. You can't do, you know, buy lists. You can't do spam calls, all that stuff. We don't do that shit. It doesn't work anyway. You got to build trust, and with trust takes time. And PJ is going to go through that, but maybe a bit later on.
Okay.
Yeah.
Any other questions, guys? Great. Other questions? Does this all make sense to you guys? The bottom part? Okay, all good. All right, so the next part we move on to, which is equally important, is the passive and active marketing. Okay. Does anybody have an idea what I mean about passive marketing? Anybody want to have a crack?
Okay, everyone, you can unmute yourselves if you want to talk or any response.
Yeah, we're about to start LinkedIn.
Yes.
Profile, you know, just soft marketing.
Yep. So on LinkedIn, because that's the platform we use for this, passive marketing is very, very important. Okay, we're going to go through this later on, but the reason why passive marketing is very, very important is that, hey, you got to build trust and rapport with your clients, first of all. Okay. The biggest problem when people go and ask something from somebody is they get a no. And the reason why they're going to get a no is because you've got to educate people and you've got to build trust. Okay. Predominantly, people will automatically say no if you go and connect with them because they don't know who you are. They've never seen you before and they don't understand what your product or service is. Okay, so passive marketing on LinkedIn is vital, meaning that before we go and connect with anybody and go and send a connection request, we've got to actually go and do a bit of research and personalization, meaning that we've got to go and like and comment on what they're posting. We've got to interact with people on LinkedIn before we go and send a connection request. Okay, that's vitally important. That's one of the best strategies that you guys can use. Okay. So, and do that, Murray, can you tell me, do you guys do any passive marketing?
We're just about to start it, actually.
Okay.
So we're just actually working with our web people we've worked with before, and actually we've just redone the website. We're about to launch it, but yeah.
Just finding out from the rest of the guys, does anybody do passive marketing currently on LinkedIn?
Little bit.
Little bit. Okay.
Not really in a sales. I hate to say that. Not really in a sales phase just yet because I've been. Yeah.
Passive marketing is not about a sales pitch. Passive marketing is to gain a trust and nurture your prospects that you're going to go after eventually. It's a long-term engagement that you guys are trying to achieve, because lead generation is nurturing clients and gaining trust. That's what lead generation is. Okay. Growing your database, making sure that you're growing your database, having conversations, but also nurturing clients along the way to make you guys relevant. So when they do need your services and products, they know and think of you guys because you've been actively doing passive marketing on LinkedIn. Okay.
We just to finish off what you've done there is we've got quite a footprint in government and insurance, and we recently tried to move into banking, and going through their due diligence process, they said, we just can't find anything out about you guys. You know, you've got no profile out there.
Yeah, that's a big, everyone's too busy internally.
Yeah.
You know, delivering projects to do marketing. That's the biggest challenge we see when we're talking to our clients, Murray, is they don't know how to get the marketing right. They're delivery experts. They are generally technicians. They're people that can deliver things. They don't do marketing. And that's what this triangle is all about. So let's just quickly wrap this triangle up, PJ. Let's get a score from everyone, overall score.
Okay, so active marketing is obviously, how often do you guys produce your own content, fresh content that's relevant to your target market? Is it weekly, fortnightly, newsletter? Any of you guys do that currently?
Yep.
We have here an answer, PJ, from Craig.
Sure.
His
Yeah, I see
passive
that.
marketing is a podcast, which is humanized, and workforce for future youth.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's cool.
Okay.
So no, not currently. We're under the radar, as it were.
Yeah. Look, it's fine. Cool.
Craig, do you have a score?
Yeah, I think passive and active marketing's pretty good for me. Yeah, so I think I would probably say 10 for passive and about 7 for active. Yeah.
Sure, you're a guru, eh? You're on the ball.
Well, it's my background. Yeah.
There we go.
I have many weaknesses, but not that.
That's one thing a lot of clients we deal with. This is where they struggle on this part. Okay, so the last part of the triangle is where some clients fall short of, and we've got to look at it in terms of on how you qualify clients and how do you convert them. Now, in this sense that we're talking about lead generation, is not talking about referrals, guys. We're talking about pure new blood that's coming into your sales pipeline. Okay. And it's vitally important to understand, do you guys have a qualification script that you guys follow? How do you guys go about qualifying people that actually show interest in your guys' products? And thereafter, what is your sales qualification process like? Because a lot of IT business owners are very much hands-on guys, and they've had their own sales team guys that deal with the sales. They've never done sales before. Now all of a sudden they have to pick up a phone and have a phone call. So it's vitally important that you guys have a qualification script to make sure that you qualify these guys. And then when you have a next call, what do you guys talk about? How do you actually convert these guys to paying clients? Okay, so Craig, since you're such a guru of marketing, guys, let's see how good are you on your sales side.
Hey, this is my weak part here coming now.
Okay, so talking non-referrals. So this is brand new guys coming into your program.
All right, from me?
Yep.
So I've worked on that. So it's basically I'm trying to sell support for SMEs. So as an executive coach or to be a non-executive director for SMEs.
Okay.
Yeah. So that's to open up a conversation. It depends on the segment they're in or what their issues are. Yeah.
For sure. So let's grab someone else. Then it's more of our target market. So let's take anyone else who wants to fill that out. The sales.
Murray.
Yeah, good question. In some areas, yes. Sales to audit investigation people, we're very strong at. Moving to the other business units in the same organization, we need work. And yeah.
So qualifying, what is it? Below 5? Above 5?
Yeah, about 5.
Yeah, okay.
I'd stay with about 5.
And then qualifying, they're converting them?
Yeah, it's a long, slow process, but we're working with really big clients.
So 6 to 9 months or 9 to 12 months.
Yeah, look.
Yeah.
Yep.
So about a 5 as well.
Yeah, about a 5.
Okay, cool.
You try and get through the legal team at Auckland Transport. Good God.
Okay, guys. So now basically what we do is quickly, just the snapshot that we give you guys is we go and have a look at, and it's quite simple. It's a traffic light system that we use. And we go and say, hey guys, this is where we're at. And you guys got to go and give yourselves a score, okay, with regards to where you guys are at. Red being, hey, you need a lot of work here. Orange mean it's important, but not that important. And green is, hey, that can be left to last. Okay, so that's how we quickly have a quick snapshot and to see where we can help you guys with regards to lead generation and what we need to focus on the next right thing. Okay, does that make sense to everybody?
Yep.
Right, PJ, are we going to get the
Okay.
scores? We're going to get the
Yep.
scores from everyone, the overall scores from you guys.
Can you
Because
guys just type it into the chat?
Yeah, type it into the chat because this is important. We get this all the time when we go through, and PJ does this with his clients when he starts the LG90 program. And the reason why the sales is quite high compared to the others is that people think they can do sales, but what they're doing is getting a lot of referral work. They're getting a lot of work that's easy sales. The moment you go and do lead gen and the proper machine, get a sales machine happening, that sales process doesn't stack up. And that's where it falls apart. Okay, so if you're going to build a marketing machine and you're going to get that to deliver, that's great. But at some point, that sales effort actually gets normalized and the score is a bit lower. So let's have a look. So that's some good scores coming through. And yeah, do you want to read them out, PJ? Do you want to?
Yeah, Matt's 15, Sandy 30, Mark 26, Murray 20. Okay, 30 is pretty high, Sandy. Good.
Well done, Sandy. Yeah, that's pretty
Yeah.
good.
You might as well go, Mike. You're doing so well, mate.
Yeah, love it.
No, that's great. But I mean, like what Ian is saying is that what you're trying to do is gain an overall a pattern where you are well versed in every aspect of that triangle. Okay, because most people, they will fall short on one aspect, and they fall short quite quickly. And that's where we're going to need to focus on the next right thing and actually see, okay, that's where we need to focus and that's where we need to put effort in. Okay, and how are we going to achieve that? Okay, what are we going to put in process to actually achieve that? Okay, right. Are there any other questions, guys, with regards to that? Otherwise, we'll just get cracking on to what we're going to chat about today. Okay, so what are the three components for lead generation? Okay, this is a question we ask all our clients when we go through the LG90. Okay, and it's a hell of important to understand this. And those are, what problem are you guys solving within your industry? Okay. What is your guys' core offer that you're going to provide to them that's going to solve their problem? Okay. What's their pain point? Okay. And also is who's your target audience? Who are your PFCs? Okay. We call them PFCs, perfect future clients, like I said. Okay. So who are they? What are the roles? Where they're involved in industry? Because as I said, we try and run one campaign at a time when we do lead generation. Okay. And the reason why we're doing that is we've got to solve a specific problem in that campaign that they have with your offer that you've currently got. And it's got to be a specific target audience. Why is that important? Because you've got to craft a message that actually resonates with those people and it talks to them as on a personal level. Okay. That's why doing a multiple campaign does not work, and sending out generic messages does not work. Okay, because you've got to cut the noise out on LinkedIn. Okay, and you've got to have a very specific message, a very targeted message, and going to the right people. Okay,
so that's really important. So our target market is generally you people on this call today. Okay, there might be one or two people like Craig. I think he's more of a coach or executive, so he's not really our target market, but 90% of you guys should be our target market in the session. Okay, you are perfect future customers. All of you on this call are, and there's one or two that are on the call that are our customers. So you are our perfect future customer. We got you to this process through the LinkedIn marketing. Okay, but it's messaging. If you don't know what the messaging is, if you know what the niche is, you can't message to people correctly. Okay, sorry, PJ, jump on.
Okay. So, Mark, we sort of know, what problem are you solving in your marketplace?
So there, do you want me to just pick one?
Yeah, just pick, because we're going to run with one campaign. So just what problem you're going to solve, what's your offer, and who you're going to target it to.
Sure. So it's so like bathroom product visualization. So it's a full room. And who it is to the homeowner, but the offer will actually go to a tradesperson who's going to interface and be the influencer for that sale.
Okay. So just to ask the specific question, because I didn't think you had the answers. What's this? What problem are you? Why did you guys come up with this? And what problem? What's the big problem? Why did you guys actually come up with this idea?
All right. So the big problem is that, well, it started off in the tile industry, is that tiles are hard to basically imagine what they're going to look like. Most tile stores only give you access to one tile on display, whereas most tiles actually have 14 or up to 30 different variants. So looking at how they're going to look in an environment is reasonably difficult. And most of the home finishing industry seems to be built on faith that their tradesperson is going to give them the right advice. And so as the tradesperson is appears to be pretty critical to the. Yep.
So I'm going to ask you another question. Sorry, because I know the space because I was a project manager in construction for many years. So
Cool.
There are a lot of big companies out there that do similar products. Like I know big tile companies here in Australia. You can go and click on a tile. It'll show you visually what the bathroom is. So what, or like National Tiles, for example. So what's your offer? Why is it so different to what other companies are going to offer, and why do people need to use your specific product?
Sure. So our app, so it's a mobile app. You walk into the room within running it for a little while and placing a couple of points down. You can map out the measurements of the room. You can raise the wall height. It'll give you an estimate of how many tiles are in that room. You can also place into that room other products, showers, windows, doors. It subtracts all of the tiles that are, specifically looking at tiles. But if you don't want tiles on the walls and you change it to paint, then the resin paint, you go through and choose the color. You basically do the whole design, and it gives a full cost of what all the products total, and gives you a calculation of the linear meters, square meters, and liters required if it's paint, a whole range of different things. So it's estimate and all sorts of things. Yeah.
Okay. Are there any other questions, guys, on that? It's very, very, very specific. So you've got to understand, what problem are you guys specifically solving? What's your specific offer to actually resolve that pain point that they have? And you've got to know that the target audience that you're reaching are relevant. Okay, it's going to make sense to these people. Okay. Any other questions, guys? Anybody else want to add on, what problem they're trying to solve, what's the offer, what the audience is?
I don't know if you can hear me. This
Yes, Samuel, yeah.
Perfect. We can hear you.
Oh, you can hear me, great.
Yeah.
Cool. So we're just a software solutions provider. We provide a bit of software that helps simplify Amazon Web Services for customers. The problem is that there's productivity and complexity issues when people move to the cloud.
Mm-hmm.
And the way to overcome that is basically provide, well, one way is to provide a more simple interface. What happens to enterprises is they generally end up with lots of AWS accounts, so they end up with this sort of the estate type thing, which is really complex to manage. So we're just trying to abstract a lot of the pain from an operational perspective.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And so there's three key areas: security, performance, and cost. Hope that's given enough.
Good. So Samuel, just a quick one there. I'm going to give PJ a bit of a break there because he's been talking for a while. The problem you're solving sounds like it's a data migration problem, simplifying the process, all those type of things, the typical things you have when you move into the cloud. So when you actually write this up, you've actually got to make it so simple that when the person actually looks at that problem, he's got 2 to 3 points that resonates with them, with the buyer, with the person who's going to buy your service or buy your product. Okay. So sometimes the people that you're selling to, and it might not be in your situation, if you're selling to the CTOs, CIOs, IT managers, they will get those problems straight away. Okay. That's great. But that's your target audience you're going to be targeting. That's fantastic if it's that correct. But if you've got those problems and you're trying to target the finance team, that's the mismatch that you've got to be careful of. Make sure you know exactly the problems you have and who the audience is. Make sure they're matched together. But that's fantastic. You're going to spend probably 2-3 days over a period of a week getting those 3 points sorted out. If you don't get those messages right, and the biggest challenge is when I look at websites from my clients, we coach, look at the website, and their websites are basically solutionless. It's all moved to cloud. It's a lot of bullshit. 90% of the clients, CIO level, any decision maker, procurement people, they don't know what the hell you're talking about. We know, in this group, we know, because we're all IT people. But a lot of people don't. Like 90% of the people that are buying your services or products don't know that. You've got to slap that message of exactly what you've got to put your mind as, swap your mind with their mind and their lens to make sure that works. Okay. Otherwise you're going to miss. But that's awesome that you get in there. You've got to write it down. It's got to be in a message. It's got to be on a landing page. It's got to be things that people, when they see, will actually resonate with. Okay. All right, PJ, sorry, go for it.
Okay, cool.
Yep.
All right, so guys, once you filled all that out, we've got to understand is, okay, who's your stakeholder and who are the decision makers? Okay. So writing it down is the best way to do it. So if you guys think about who you're going to go and target, okay, and you have a look at who are those role players, are they going to be specific decision makers, or they're going to be influencers? Okay, so I've just got a few examples here. Okay, so what you do is you go and write them down, and then you say, right, out of these people, okay, and you got to rank them, one being the best person to go and target with that specific message, who you want to go to first, is you go and rank them 1 to 3. Okay, who is going to be the guys that I actually want to go and talk to? Okay, those are the guys. So when you do a campaign, we're going to write a message to those specific people because it's going to make sense when they read it. Okay. So we've got to identify exactly who these people are and understand if they are the same people that make the decisions, the messages that you're going to send them makes complete sense. So what happens on LinkedIn is generally when we do this for clients, people have 2 LinkedIn profiles. Generally, there's a very technical person and there's a very business-oriented person, okay? Technical guys will obviously go for technical roles and they'll talk the tech language, okay? The business guys who are going after the big decision makers will talk a different language because their LinkedIn profile will talk about their business. And the guy that's talking about technical will have a more technical portfolio on his LinkedIn profile. Okay. Because what happens is when you go and send that connection request out, the first thing I got to do is go and look to LinkedIn. Are you creditable? Are you say who you are? Do you provide the right services that you're pitching to me in the message? Okay.
Are these guys going to solve my problem in the future or currently? Or are they interested because they look good on LinkedIn in the sense of their portfolio or the experience they have in services or product, whatever?
Okay. Any questions on that, guys? It's quite self-explanatory. Okay.
Self-explanatory. Yep.
All right, cool. Right, target market. Now, as I said, you've got to run one campaign at a time, and it's very, very important to understand this. So you've got to identify what is your industry niche, is there a sub-niche, and who you're going to go and target in that specific sub-niche. Okay, the target roles. And it's vitally important to write this down, guys, because it gives you clarity. Okay. And don't, like some clients come to us and say, hey, PJ, I want to go after 20 industries and this is what I want to do. No. Okay. Let's take the top 3. Those are the roles we're going to go after. Whose profile we're going to use for what? How are we going to break it down? And what message are we going to convey to these people on the pain points that they are currently facing in the industry? Okay. Don't have a huge cast net that you're going to throw out there. Guys, it just doesn't work. You've got to hone in and be very specific of who you're going to go and target first. Once that campaign is finished, then you can ascertain on who you're going to go after next. Okay. A lot of our clients, what they do is when they go and target people, they will actually go and rank them as tier 1, tier 2, tier 3. Okay. So when the guys come through and they know the tier 1, there's another tactic on what they do, on how they nurture that client, because they know how they operate. Okay. Because different tier clients operate differently and they think differently. And you got to understand where you guys want to actually put your energy in. Ian, want to add anything on that note with tier 1 to tier 3 guys?
Yeah, look, it's important, you know, it's because once you start to think about who your real niches and your focus, then that messaging becomes a lot clearer. The problems that you're solving becomes clearer. The way you talk to them on an email or on LinkedIn or on a landing page on your website becomes clearer. Now, you might have 2 or 3 niches, but you might be a bit broader than that. But don't worry, have 2 or 3 landing pages that are specific to those messages. All ties in right through from start to finish. Okay. Just bear that in mind. You can't, you know, when people get to see an email or get to see a LinkedIn message and they land on the landing page, it's all got to be the same language. It's got to go, oh, geez, these are the problems I have. These are the 5 or 6 problems I have. That's when you connect. That's when they go, do you know what? I'm going to respond to this, or I'm going to download that white paper, or I'm going to put some time ahead, or I'll book a link through his calendar. Let's have a 20-minute chat. Okay, it's important. You also want to build your community. You want to, you know, show people that you actually care about that niche as well, if possible. Okay, you can't be a jack of all trades. If you're an IBM or Accenture and everything else, you know, you are the jack of all trades. But we here are not. None of us are, you know, an Accenture. So you've got to remember, we've got to become famous for something, or look like we're famous for something at least. Okay, that's important. PJ?
Okay, cool. Right, so this brings us to what your product offer is. Okay, so this is hell of important to understand, you know, who we're going to go and target. Again, this is just a wrap up and what we've been talking about. What's the problem they have? And how are you going to solve that problem for them? Okay, so you've got to think about from the client's perspective on tangible, intangible, you know, aspects on what your product or services is actually going to resolve for these people. Okay, so you've got to write this down, because all of this comes through what we're going to talk about just now, is your elevator pitch, your product pitch. So you got to be ready when somebody asks you, hey, Mark, what's your company about? You know, in 1 minute, you can tell them exactly what your company is about, what your product does, and how it's going to help them out. If you don't have that down and in your brain, okay, you've lost that opportunity. Okay, so it's very, very important to write all these elements down and get everything down. And once you've done this, then we're going to go through just now and what we mean and how that correlates into messages, because this is very, very important to have a specific message for a problem that you can solve for your clients.
Yeah. Now, if you're a consulting type company, it's quite hard sometimes. You know, you might have a whole lot of tools that solve multiple problems. Okay. As I said earlier, make sure you just pick on one of the main problems that you want to go to market with or have a campaign around. It could be security. It could be migration to the cloud. It could be that there is a problem you're solving. So just think about that from that perspective.
Okay. Any thoughts on this, guys? Has anybody got any thoughts? All good?
Yeah,
Is it-
all good, I think.
Okay. Well, what do you, Mike? What do you say? You think? Come on, give it a crack. You know who you're targeting. You know that. You know what your problem is.
Well,
Okay.
I was just I was just reading the one in the middle, the what's the problem they have, and I was just thinking back from when I was a consultant for digital solutions, is that most of the time I didn't, the problem that I was going to solve was whatever problem they had, which was how I attacked it. And so it was like digitization or that kind of scenario. So I'm just looking at that central question there as what is the problem they have, and whereas in the case of actuality, I'll just say current company because I'm a serial entrepreneur. So is that the problem that they have is getting quick product confirmations is basically the problem that they have, and that's right the way across the bathroom industry.
Okay, cool. So Mike, if you pause that there, if you take that snag, that component, and you said that to people, would that be the problem? They understand that problem? If you just said that to them, what's that phrase? You've got to get every word, you've got to have it like a sentence.
Yeah.
What is the problem? And that's going to take you a while to solve.
Yeah.
Okay, because that's the problem. So when you say our solution does this and this, and they go, yeah, that's our problem. Bang, you're having a discussion.
Yeah.
Okay. The problem is we don't think about it enough. All right. Anyone else want to have a go and describe what the problem is that they have? Their clients have it, not your problems, but the clients. We all got problems. Anyone that want to have a go? Anyone want to have a go? Because it's so important. Okay, so important. A lot of clients don't know the problem. They have a lot of symptoms. They don't know what's causing the problem. So you're like a doctor as a consultant. You cruise along, you go and see the patient, and they've got a sore leg. Like, why have they got a sore leg? They just say they've got a sore leg, but something else is happening to give them a sore leg. All right, that's what it's happening. Response times could be bad or on the system, or there could be something else that's happening. Okay, so you've got to work on what those actual symptoms are sometimes, and those could be the problems that you target. But that's not really the problem. It just gives you the discussion. Okay, sorry, PJ, carry on.
Well, I think in Mark's case, you highlighted the biggest problem they have currently, because I know I'm busy building my house, and not knowing that there's suppliers coming in and when they're going to come in, it compounds the whole cost of the project. It delays everything else because people are waiting for tiles, tiler can't tile, and so forth. So you got to have very specific pain points, and when the guy knows that by using your app, they can directly know where the stock is. Yes, it's in stock. Then the guy's got a no-brainer decision. Here's my money, take my money, order the product now because it's in stock.
Yeah.
So, it's having to know what that biggest pain point that your consumers or your clients have, that you're going to nail it. Okay. Anybody else? All good? Okay, client outcomes, guys. We don't say this enough. Okay, and it's very, very simple. People buy from people, they don't buy products, they buy outcomes. Okay. That's a very powerful message that you guys have got to understand. They've got to have an outcome. Okay. So what is desired by the client and what is the benefit? Okay. So this again drills down to what problem are you solving? And what are the outcomes that you can provide to your clients that's going to give them a benefit? Does anybody else want to have a crack? What their outcome is going to give for their clients? Murray, Samuel.
Yeah, we got a lot here. We have like 14 participants.
Okay.
Yeah, let's how about we have here Murtaza?
Anybody? Any ladies?
Anybody? Oh, a lady, we have Ilya.
Yeah.
Oh, we have
Hey.
Orville here.
Orville, how you going? Good
Oh,
time.
Orville. Hello, Orville.
Hi, P.
How you going?
How are you guys?
Good.
And, I've been listening. I just haven't been muted because I'm physically on the job site.
No problem.
So for those of you who are joining for the first time, I can tell you, I can vouch for both the team, Peter and Ian, as I am a customer, and they're great bloke. And it taught me a lot. But going back to Peter's answer, I hope that
No, breaking up.
Lost his audio.
Loading growth, that I too become part of that relationship. But one thing I'm on the job, and I'm talking to her about
Okay, thanks, Orville.
Thanks, Orville. Thanks a lot, mate.
that.
Cheers, mate. Thanks.
No problem.
All right. So Orville's got his outcomes and he knows what he's doing because he's dialed in. It's really important to be dialed in. And I suppose anyone else want to have a go? So he said he had a lady. Yeah. Anyone else there? I think no one else has got the cameras on. PJ, anyone else?
Nope. Okay. Okay, guys. So once we know that, we've got to go say, right, and we've got to wrap it up and say, who's your stakeholder, guys? What target market? Who's your target market and be? What's your product offering? Okay. And what are your client outcomes? Okay. So you've got to make sure that you've gone through all of this and you've gone and actually put it down into these 4 stages. Okay. The reason why we go and actually write it down physically is what I've been talking about. Okay. You've got to go and do your product pitch. Okay. Equivalent to your elevator pitch. Okay. All of this information we've been chatting about, writing down specifically where we're going to, who we're going to target, what's our offering, why we're going to go and do all of this, what the pain points we're going to do, and what are the outcomes for our clients. It's got to be in a snapshot like this is. So like I said, somebody bumps into you in an elevator and says to you, hey, what do you do? You've got to be simple. Tell the guy what you do, what your product does, or what your service does. Simple. Because I promise you now, when we get to this part with clients that we work with, we ask them first and foremost, hey, what is your company about and what do you do? And it's amazing how many people sit and look at you. They start stumbling. And because we put the guys on the spot and they actually haven't thought about and actually got clarity around what they actually do. And this comes to important part is like, I know Ian speaks about this a lot, about people in your organization and your companies. You know, you don't have a sales department. Okay, everybody that works in your company should be a salesperson. They should know exactly what you guys do, what you guys promise to do, what your outcomes are for your clients, and what your company stand for. Okay, it's vitally important that everybody understands it. Okay, so everything that we've been doing up to now leads to this very pitch. Okay, so can anybody give me a 1-minute pitch off the cuff?
Matt is smiling. Matt, maybe you can start.
I just want to know if it's true. If all our clients come to us and we ask them a question, hey, what's your elevator pitch? A lot of people look at us.
Yeah, I can understand why. It's
hard.
So this is kind of one of the things that I've been working on. At the moment, I'm sort of trying to craft out who is my audience and who exactly do I want to target. So I am drilling down into this right now.
Yep.
I still need to do a lot of work on it, but basically, I help business owners who don't have enough hours in the day to get more done with less time.
Cool.
And it basically, so inviting the question of how do you do that? And then basically I'm working on, I'm looking to target businesses that maybe haven't gone digital yet. So particularly in the fabrication market, we're developing a MVP around workflow management that can fit the business rather than the business fitting the system. And that's kind of like it's in there. But basically, you know, it's business owners who haven't got enough hours in the day get more done in less time.
Okay, great. Thanks, Matt. Anybody else want to have a crack?
Relatively.
Cool. Have a crack.
So what I wrote up the other day was that Actuality is developing QuickView AR, a 3D product and e-commerce platform to help everyone involved in the presentation, sale and purchase of home finishing and home improvement products with a DIY mobile app that measures, estimates, and creates a shareable vision.
Cool.
Good. So I'm going to say something on that. That's great. It's a bit long.
Yeah, it's too long.
Yeah, got to cut it up. But the other thing is, you know, this is what we go through. We coach everyone through this. This is the process. We coach and we nail it. It's ask PJ, he runs us. It just doesn't happen in one day. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's hard work, and you've got to have, you know, people to go through it with you sometimes. You know, it's so just keep on working on it. Keep on working on it. Okay. Samuel's there. Do you want to have a go, Samuel?
Yeah.
I'm Ben. Sorry, I realized my thing was Samuel because my son was using this. Okay, I'm Ben anyway. Sorry, guys. Yeah. So anyway, I'm Ben, and so but yeah, essentially, real high level is the goal with our product is to make things more simple on Amazon Web Services, and we do that via a simple, easy to use interface. And we simplify things like improve backups and restore, reduce overhead, and increase security posture.
Okay, that's good. That's good. Just remember, cut it and make it easier for people to consume. Have that, print that out and put it on your desk and see after the next couple of weeks if that makes sense.
I promise you, you'll have a lot of black pens through it, and it'll be all rewritten. Yeah, that's what you guys got to do, like Ian says. You know, put it up in front of you. You know, and as soon as when you start talking to your clients a lot, you'll actually learn off your clients what they're saying back to you, and you'll start refining what your pitch is going to be. Okay, because that's important to get feedback from your current clients is valuable information, because you can use that information to actually pitch to people that you want to pitch to. Okay, because you got to find out what are the current problems in the industry now that you can go and utilize that and send out a message that you know is relevant now currently. Okay. Right, creating the message, guys. I'll just quickly show you this triangle because we're running out of time. There's a specific sequence that we use in our sort of lead generation through LinkedIn. Is obviously there's a different phase and there's reasons why, but just on a high level, is obviously we go and send a connection request out. We go and do an intro, then we follow up with a lead message. Okay. And there's a lot of other things that we go and do with regards to LinkedIn. Okay. We've got to go and get interest of people. Okay. Go get people interested. We've got to make sure the people we're chatting to are qualified. Okay. Because we're talking to the right audience. That's vitally important. There's no point going to go and talk to people that this message is going to mean nothing to, because you're just wasting your time, energy, and effort. Okay. Then we've got to make sure that how do we actually go and get these guys to convert them into prospects or leads, okay, that eventually become a paying client. Okay. And part of that messaging sequence that we do is we do a lot of what we've been talking about today. We do a lot of passive and active marketing. We go and get qualified or pre-qualified people for you. Okay. That's hell of important, because that takes a long time to go and find these people. Because like Ian says, we don't go and buy lists and all of that. We're not into that. And it's very important that you go and get the right target audience that you want to talk to. Okay. So this is roughly how we use messaging. Okay. Obviously, we talked about, we go and send a connection out. Okay. Once they've connected, we go and send out an introduction message to them. If they haven't had a meaningful conversation with us, we lead that up with a lead message. And if we haven't had any further conversation with us, is the booster message. Now, we know the booster message is very, very important because a lot of people are not active from 7 to 10 days on LinkedIn. Okay. So it's vital that you keep a sequence that is repetitive and it's going through, that you be able to catch people at the time that they are on LinkedIn. Okay. So that's just a basic sequence that we go and use, and it's broken up into the following messages. Okay. So this is just a quick example of a connection request because you are limited to X amount of characters on LinkedIn. So a connection request has to be very brief and very specific. The most important thing about a connection request, guys, is got to be personalized. Don't send out generic connection requests, okay? Try and personalize that connection message as much as possible. Relevant to your industry, relevant to who you're talking to, okay? And why you want to go and connect with those people. Because the first thing they do when they're going to get a connection request is they're going to go and do some research about you. Okay. Anything you want to add there, Ian?
It's all on the mobile. So if you're doing LinkedIn, it's all mobile. So it's got to be short. It's got to be something they can read. Not creepy as well. And it's got to be something that they'll go, oh, that's great or not great, and move on.
Yeah, very important. Okay. So hey, after the connection request to be sent out, somebody actually responds to your connection, say, hey, great to connect. Now you need to go and send an introduction message. Okay. And this is more specifically about, you know, an introduction to yourself and trying to gain trust and talking to the client to have a conversation. Everything you're trying to do when you're having a conversation with somebody in lead generation is, can anybody give me the reason why you're trying to have a conversation in the first place before I give you the answer? When we send messages out to people, we want to get something back in return. So what do we call that?
Trading?
Sorry, what was that?
I just thought of the word trading.
Nope.
I don't know if that's the right word.
Does anybody know what this means?
Call to action.
Call to action.
Oh,
That's
no.
it. Okay, every message that we send out has to have a purpose. We're trying to have the conversation. So we're trying to initiate the conversation, but also have a response back. Okay.
I do like the non-creepy. I think that's very good.
Yeah.
Because most of the people that I turn away are just like, nah, it's too obvious that they have no idea who the hell I am.
No, that's
They're
why,
approaching me about the wrong company.
Yeah, it's very vital that you guys cut the noise out of LinkedIn because there are a lot of people on LinkedIn, and it have to be personalized. You have to be talking to them as if you're talking to them face to face. And that's what's important. Okay. So every messages that we have has to have a call to action, guys. Okay. So this is like how we break up a lead message. Okay. It's obviously got the name. Okay. What it's relating to, what the opportunity is, what the unique process is, the ask, which is the call to action, and obviously a sign off.
Okay, PJ, we've got like a minute or two to go before it's 1 o'clock our time in Sydney here. So I think if Jan Lee, if you could just put a few links in there, if anyone wants to catch up with PJ on Lead Gen, there's a booking link there. Let's see if are you still there, Jan Lee? Can you pop the booking link in there for his calendar?
Yes, sure.
Yeah, and then we can carry on. And for those that need to jump off, they can jump off.
And also the the copies of what we're going to go over, the passive active marketing, why it's important to have leads, you know, those PDFs.
Yeah, if you just put that in there quickly, Jenny. That'd be great. And then what we can do is carry on then, so that everyone gets more value, because I'll just put that in there. That's a book, a PJ session. And then, sorry to interrupt, I just want to make sure, because otherwise we're so busy, it's hard to get hold of us, and there's a lot of important stuff here. So yeah, carry on there, PJ.
Okay. So is there any discussion for those of you going to remain here? Is there any discussion, you know, about messages, why messages are important? You know, any questions about why we specifically break it down and the way we do it?
No.
Nope. Okay, all good. Okay, so what we look at is now there's obviously the booster message that we send out is relevant because we know that people are very busy on LinkedIn. Okay, so the booster message that we do is just to recap on the messages that we were sending to them, and it has to have a very important aspect, a call to action with your link. Okay, so they actually can go and book in time, because what happens a lot of times is people say, hey, I'm free on Tuesday or at this time, and then you come back and say, no, but I'm not free, and it's just to and fro. Okay, so it's very important to have your calendar link, and it's even better if somebody shows interest into you to say to the guys, hey, send me your calendar link and I'll book in some time with you. Okay, because a lot of people say, hey, here's my calendar link. Okay, when people respond positively to your messages, and they say, hey, book in some time with me. Now, what's that saying is that you're actually telling your potential clients to actually organize a meeting with you rather than you be forthcoming and actually organizing a meeting with them. Okay, it seems like you're more important than they are. So if somebody comes back and says, hey, great to know about your product and service, would love to have a catch up and a demonstration of what your product does, be on the front foot and say, hey, please send me your calendar link so I can book in some time with you. Or alternatively, here's my calendar link. But don't go and say to them, hey, here's my calendar link, book in some time. You know, just be on the front foot all the time. Okay.
PJ, you got 3 minutes until your next appointment. Cool. So anyone got questions in the next minute and a half, 2 minutes for PJ on LinkedIn messaging or things or tips and tricks? We're pretty good at the stuff. Taking us a long time to get good at it. LinkedIn's hard to get working, to be honest, guys. I'm not saying that trying to sell to you guys. I was a non-believer for many years, even when I ran my own consultancy firm. And I had to do it because back when COVID started 2 years ago, a lot of my clients came to us and said, our traditional sales model, it's broken, it's not working. And we went out and got a lot of time and money invested into LinkedIn coaching for us. And now we just offer that to our clients. But there's some good things, and it's a process to go through. And we've got a real methodology from A to B to get results for our clients. So any questions you have on that, around that process or anything else, PJ, anything that you guys have at the moment? Because I know we've got to jump off in 2 minutes. I'd rather, because I know there's tons of stuff, to go through. Any questions that anyone's got here? Matt, Mike, Sandy, Timo, anyone else got any questions before we have to wrap up?
Oh, it's been all good. Thanks. I just want to say thank you for the information.
Yeah, great.
And, like I say, I've been messing around with this stuff a lot. The bit I struggle with is having the discipline to sit down and actually go through the process, take these daily actions and make sure that I'm tracking. So I suppose that's a question for you then. What's an effective way to be able to track the process to make sure that I'm sending my lead messages at the right time and I'm sending the...
Awesome question, Matt. And this is the biggest problem. We have CAs, we have campaign assistants, we have people that do the work for you. Our clients, even though one-man bands, don't have the time to do the work. And that's the difference. So it's really, really hard to basically do the work. When you have to know what you've got to do properly in the sequence and the process on LinkedIn, you just can't do it.
Yeah.
That's the fault of it. Okay. A lot of these big software companies and service companies have teams of people dedicated to do this, believe it or not.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Yeah, 100%. So we've got a scaled, that's right. We've got a scaled version for one-man bands. And then we've got some clients are bigger and we've got a bigger version. So get hold of PJ, he'll explain that to you, because it's hard to do it yourself. You got to be out there delivering.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Great question though. Anything else? Anyone else got a question?
Yeah, some are already leaving. And thank
Okay.
you, Sandy, also for joining us.
Great. All right, guys.
Guys,
Thank you very much.
thanks very much
Thanks
for
a lot.
joining us.
Thanks for.
Thank you so much.
All right. Cheers, everyone.